Good afternoon, good early evening to you. It's 5:45. I guess it'd be afternoon. 4:45. Pardon me. 4:45 p.m. on Sunday, February 25th. A little bit ago, Purdue hung on to beat Michigan up at Crisler Arena. Some call it Mackey Arena North. Just got renamed that. As Purdue fans represented, showed out. They sounded awesome on TV. A lot of them in Twitter. We're having a good time with that. But Purdue earns the 25th win of the season, I believe. The 25th. So they're 25-3 now. 25th win of the season. While I don't want to say like scratching and clawing to hang on, but they had a really bad 3-4 minutes at the closing part of the game. Kind of a lousy, sluggish 7 minutes after getting their goal and fouling out both of Michigan's primary big men. Purdue didn't really take advantage and really put them away by any means. Doug McDaniel's a good player. He's a real difference maker. If I were a Michigan fan watching that game, I'd be pissed off, not at Purdue or the officials, but Juwan Howard, because it shows you how good this team could have been and should have been and how much he was asleep at the stick this year. I'll talk all about it here in a second, but I want to thank my pals. First, I'm wearing a sweatshirt by one of my pals, Home Field Apparel. Head over to homefieldapparel.com, grab a sweatshirt or t-shirt, put it in your cart, enter Boiled23 at checkout for 15% off. Like I said, they've got some new stuff there. If you haven't been on there in a couple weeks, check it out. They've got some t-shirts and sweatshirts and hats that weren't there a long time ago. And then when you're on campus, if you're there for the Michigan State game, it's coming right up, go towards the fire station. Just head towards the fire station, and then when you smell deliciousness, it's probably AJ's. It's either AJ's or Adam from AJ's. And go in there. Yell Boiled Sports. Don't do that. But go in there. Have some mac and cheese bites. Have a pretzel appetizer. Get some Italian beef. Get a burger. The Greek burger's good. I think there's like 3 burgers I've had. They've all been equally good. All of them are too much food for me, honestly. It's hard to believe. But yeah, they're good. And the waffle fries. Get some waffle fries. EatAJ's.com before you go over there if you want to order ahead. Burgers, beef, and beer. That's AJ's. So Purdue hangs on in Crisler. It was a fun game at times. It was a very, very unfun game at times. Not fun at all. In the first 10 minutes, it wasn't fun. Purdue was not playing a good brand of basketball offensively. And on defense, they were struggling to stay in front of Michigan. But Michigan was getting fouls, and it was going to become a war of attrition. It felt that way. And sure enough, Michigan lost 2 big men, like I said earlier. But Purdue's jump shooting kind of came and went. They didn't shoot at a high clip from 3. They didn't shoot at a real high clip from mid-range, it didn't feel like. But they did have a middle, a middle 20 minutes. Let's say that, a middle 20 minutes, where they absolutely looked the part of one of the top 3 teams in the nation. People ask on Twitter, is this something to worry about, the fact that they struggled a little bit offensively? I don't know. It's up to you. I had a guy come at me saying I was part of the problem because I wasn't hard enough on this team, as if my criticism will change Purdue's play or make them better. And I blocked him because I got sick of hearing it. But whenever you come at me personally, start saying things about me and my judgment and saying that I'm the person or that's at fault, I get a little bothered. And so I'm sorry. If it's my fault, I'll apologize to all Purdue Nation. I guess it's my fault. That's why Purdue shot so poorly at the first 10 minutes. I'm part of the problem. If you want to look for something to worry about, if you're that type of person, if you've been that way this year, I think this game is disconcerting. That said, I thought there was a good chance Purdue could lose this game because it was such a setup, especially in the wake of that Rutgers game, to be let down, right? Purdue shot so well, played so well, was so emotional, looked just absolutely nearly perfect for 30 minutes, I think, that they're going to come down. And boy, did they crash down. That said, it's hard to win on the road any place in college basketball. We've seen good teams lose. And then on the other side, Michigan's really bad, really in disarray. They wanted this game. They couldn't get it done. Juwan Howard avoided a technical foul late in the game in spite of being all the way on the court after a dead ball coming to chew on an official. Of course, officials, they don't see any problem with Juwan Howard because why would you? What's the history there? Other than that, I don't think there was too much to write home on, about the officiating. I think Purdue can play better in all facets of the game. Other than I think they didn't shoot the free throw perfectly or well. Zach Edey shot it better. He continues to shoot it back like he was at the beginning of the season. Hopefully that's just a sign of things to come as he cruises a little bit. Fletch Lawyer made a three, his second three of the month of February. That's a good thing. He's got to hunt a shot a little bit more. To me, I don't know how else to explain it because a friend of mine texted me, said, "What do you think's up with Fletch?" And I said, "I don't know how to explain it other than he's gassed. I can't explain it any other way. I really can't." Heidi played a little bit. I'll look at the minutes here in a second. But Heidi looked like he took a shot, an elbow to the head, and I don't know how serious that was. I'm sure the med staff cleared him. But he didn't play. Of course, he's not going to play like he did versus Rutgers. I mean, shooting 100% and was it 7 for 7? That's not going to happen. But Purdue's bench play wasn't great other than Gillis. That's not surprising to see Gillis playing well, shooting well. He had arguably the biggest shot, one of the biggest shots of the second half as Purdue was in that drought for nearly 4 minutes. Gillis is the one who breaks him out with a three from the top of the key. He was looking for a shot, which really, I don't want a ton out of these guys offensively, meaning Gillis and Lawyer, the last two I've mentioned. I want Lawyer to knock down open threes when he gets the opportunity. And I think he was 1 for 2. He didn't shoot a lot, still not shooting a lot. And Gillis, I just don't want him to shy away from shooting, period. I think that's the big thing. I don't want him pump faking. I want him getting away from Mackey and doubting himself. I think that's a big deal. Just going with the attitude that you're an option. And when your time's up, when your time's called, when your number's called, you go do big things. Zach Edey was absolutely dominant, though. Scored 30-plus points and I think 13 or 15 boards. I'll look at the specific stats. But Zach Edey was impossible for Michigan to stay in front of, and he did all the little things when he wasn't getting the ball, too. He had a couple assists. He had a couple block shots, a lot of rebounds. Braden Smith, huge game. Braden Smith, I think it's funny. It's really odd to me. There's a group of Purdue fans that don't want you to applaud Braden Smith. And if you're not one of them, you probably don't even understand what I'm talking about. When you have quite a few followers on Twitter, you'll hear from different people meaning I don't know who they are, but they'll say, stop giving Smith credit. Multiple people said that to me this week. I'm not going to stop giving Smith credit. When a guy, to this game, he almost gets triple-double. And when he's under control, number one, Purdue, I think Michigan threw the press at them multiple times. Purdue handled it mostly because Smith. But Smith, the things he does patiently to work a defense and to get them out of position and to wait for wait for Edey to get position is pretty incredible. And then his feeds, I know many Purdue fans have become spoiled with this too, but his ability to put the ball where it needs to be away from the defender, like a really good quarterback, is noteworthy. It's great. Finally, Lance Jones played big. He knocked down shots when Purdue needed it. He was attacking the rim, which that's to me when he's most deadly. Just played a great game, and he was a little frustrated. There was a moment where Gillis and Jones got into it. It was something to do with defense. Very close to the end, last 2 minutes. He knocked the ball away. Jones knocks the ball away from the Michigan player. Looks clean from the replay. And Gillis and Jones chewed on each other. I don't think this is anything to be bothered by. But I just thought I'd say it because it was different. I don't think I've seen those two go at it like that. I kind of like that. They were frustrated because they didn't play up to their level, but we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Purdue fans just say, okay, is everything all right? I think it's fine, but it was noteworthy. All right, let's look at the stats together. Trick Hoffman-Renn finished with 4 points, 3 boards. He didn't shoot a free throw. Zach Edey, like I said, 35 points, 15 boards, 2 assists, no turnovers. Cleaned that up really nicely. Again, I will remind all Purdue fans to enjoy what we have in Zach Edey, in this team, but especially in Zach Edey. It's really easy to say, this is just the way things go. But to have a guy that's such a safety valve, that is such a handful, and nobody can stop him, you can't take it for granted. He's incredible, and Purdue's offense will look very different next year, regardless of what how Painter chooses to call it and how Thompson chooses to call the offense. It will be different. It'll be notably different. Smith, 11 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds, 4 steals. Did have 3 turnovers, but man, that's a hell of a game. He just absolutely fills the sheet. Let's see. Lance Jones, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And finally, Gillis had 8 points, 3 boards, and 3 assists, just 1 turnover. Purdue kept the turnover monster in check. They had 8, and they kind of came in bunches, if I remember correctly, which frustrated me a bit. But like I said, Michigan is, I said this coming into the game, they're a talented team. They showed they're a talented team. They have a couple guys that'll be really good next year for somebody. Not Michigan. My gut, I think there's going to be quite a few departures regardless of what they do with their coaching situation. But we'll see. We'll see. They've botched this before, University of Michigan has. And if I was going to say who are the guys that are going to be gone, I would put McDaniel at the top of that list. So he's a really good player. He's from Maryland. I hope he doesn't go to Maryland. So let's see. Just to review, Purdue is 25-3 now. They win 84-76. And I want to do one more thing. I want to look at minutes real quick. Edey and Smith, this is not new. This is not unusual, 38 and 39 minutes. Not weird at all. I kind of wanted them to, I think every minute you're going to have them sitting on the bench down this stretch, the better off Purdue is in the long run. Lance Jones plays 34 minutes. Lawyer, 24. So maybe that's kind of what's settling in. Last game he played 25. This game plays 24. And then off the bench, Cam Heidi played 19 minutes. Morton, just 4. Ethan Morton played just 4 minutes. Purdue's bench needs to produce a little bit more. You don't have to have Heidi doing what he did last game for Purdue to win. But I'd say if you're going to, I think if you're looking for an easy, dumb formula, maybe it's 3 players in double figures. Like I said, the big 3 idea is important, but this is close to it when you have one guy score 8, one guy score 9. Actually, they did have 3 with double figures. So maybe it's 3 players to 15. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know the formula. I haven't figured it out. But the big thing is they do need more production off the bench, in my opinion. Purdue just shoots 29% from 3. I think they had they're the number 1 3-point shooting team in the league. They passed whomever was second earlier in the week. I don't know if they lose that temporary crown. I don't know if my guess is they probably would if it was that close. They just took it. So, but you're not going to play like you did versus Rutgers. You're not going to shoot that way most games. Purdue shoots nearly 70% from the free throw line. But that first 10 minutes is absolutely the killer. And I don't know. I think they can play better. But to get the win is important to me. I don't know if anybody's looking to be worried or angst-ridden, have at it. But I'm glad they won. I was worried about that one. So, Ryan... Michael Anthony Harrington says Mackey North was rocking. Were you there, Ryan? I hope so. There were a lot of Purdue fans there, and they sounded awesome. Like I think we heard Whose House at one point, which is perfectly disrespectful. Awesome. Nathan Anderson says Happy Sunday, B Dowd. Same to you. By the way, had a little stomach bug today, and I was going to say that at the beginning. Rain nor shine nor stomach bug keeps me away from putting in the post game. That was it's not great. You've been there. Anyway, Ed Albanese, hello. Many Purdue grads at Michigan. That's awesome. Jay Granite says Michigan played well given their shorthanded roster. Purdue didn't play well and won. We'll take the road win, move on. I think that's all you can do. Nita Beanverse says thought this was a great test for March. Team with nothing to lose, shot well. Purdue didn't. Glad we got the W. Sometimes you have to win ugly ones, and this was an ugly one. Purdue has won a couple of these this year. I'd like there to be fewer ugly ones. The next 3, you play 3 teams that are going to the tournament. Assuredly 2. Many say Michigan State's on the bubble. I think if Tom Izzo's the coach, they'll probably put Michigan State in the tournament, regardless of what they throw at the wall. So, but that's 3 good teams, and so now you got to put on your big boy pants. Started off in Mackey. The Illinois game is the one that I was bothered by before Purdue lost to Ohio State. I'm still bothered by that game. I think Illinois wants that game bad. If you're into the Big Ten championship count, Purdue's up 2.5 games. That'll be shrunk down to 2 next time Illinois plays, obviously. Eric Brickley says, never gets old watching Edey dominant. Good. That's awesome. Can't believe it's almost over. Yep, we're closing in quickly. Nathan Anderson, joke. When Juan was on the court more than... Joke Juan. Got it. Sorry. Joke Juan was on the court more than most of the players. This is his deal, though. He's always on the court. Like I said, the refs have no reason to think he's going to create problems, so why would they call it tech? Boilermaker63 says, impressively pro Purdue crowd in Crisler. It's awesome. Alfred Dowd says, big W for Boilers. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for tuning in. Ed Albany says, last home game, March 10 against Wisconsin. Tickets will be crazy expensive. Yeah, it's going to be nuts. Tickets are already crazy expensive for about everything. There's no kidding. Let's see. JL says battling through to win on the road is at least a positive where the team would have faded in the trenches in the past. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for things that differentiate this team from last year, remember they lost 4 of their last 8 last year. So they don't look like they're going to do that. So that's a positive. They've lost 1 of their last 8 already. If you want to, I think Ohio State was game 7 in their last 8, if you're counting backwards. Got ahead of myself. Motor City Boy says, hey guys, I'm at the buses waiting for the players to come out. That's cool. Awesome. Tell them I say hello. Ed Albany says at one point it was like watching UFC. Yeah, Howard made sure they were going to hack Edey. Let's look at that. I didn't even look at that. Edey goes 14 for 18 from the line. Great day. Solid day. I'm not a math guy. I think that's right at or above his percentage. That's great day. But he hit him down the stretch. It seemed like he missed 1. He almost airballed 1, actually, down the stretch. I don't know what's up with that. But generally, very good game. Adam P. says, so Lawyer, 9 points. Did he break out of a slump, do you think? I wouldn't say he broke out of a slump, but I mean, he goes 1 for 5 from 3. Okay, so he's looking for a shot. I think he has to do that. So I wasn't paying close enough attention. I apologize. I'm glad he shot. I really am. I think if you're going to have a shooting guard who's supposed to be a shooter, he's got to shoot his way out of this. I would not say that's breaking out of the slump. Going 1 for 5 for a guy like that is not breaking out of the slump. He's got to keep shooting. So I hope he keeps shooting. The idea of not wanting him to do well, I don't think Purdue fans mean that, but there are a lot of people that are on a pretty anti-Fletch bandwagon. I just don't like it. So I will be honest, though. I'm glad that somebody else is getting some of those minutes, but got to take advantage of it. If it's not Heidi, I mean, this is where I'd like to see Painter. Just give me a couple minutes of Colvin. I don't think, did Colvin play? Did I miss that early in the game? Let's see. No, I didn't miss it. He didn't get in. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I was battling a little stomach thing. So JL says cutting down turnovers was big. Absolutely. If you have one of those 14 turnover games, Purdue loses. No doubt about it. Ethan Dolance says Edey's offense was amazing. Edey's defense, ugh. That's how Purdue will lose in March. Torching his drop coverage. Yeah, drop coverage is a problem. Sometimes the drop coverage is a problem. Unrelated, maybe Painter needs a quality suit to rival Rick Pitino's all-white suit. If you didn't see Pitino's suit today, it's a bit of a throwback. Pitino used to do that all the time. Pitino used to always wear a white suit like twice a season when he was at Louisville. And so he brought it back, no tie. It looked like a kid at his first communion. White shoes, too. Pretty noteworthy. I think wearing a suit a couple times a year. Obviously, the Coaches for Cancer has flipped on its side where it used to be a sweatsuit tennis shoe game. Now it's suit with tennis shoes, I think, because everybody wears quarter zips and sweatshirts pretty much the whole year. But I think having one game a year, I kind of like what a couple coaches do where they'll bust out the school color coat. I retweeted a picture of Katie in his gold blazer from 1990. I love that. I love those uniforms. I love Katie in the gold coat. So I think it'd be fun to see that. Let's see. Boilermaker 63, Adam, I thought the Lawyer made good decisions. Yeah, he was much better in the second half. So that's good. Let's see. Brent Williams says down to 1 to clinch at least to share the regular season title. It's a big deal. Andy in Colorado. Oh, Adam's here. Adam says boiler up. Adam, if you don't know. It's AJ's, the A from AJ's. Adam in Colorado says Braden is going to get that triple-double soon. Yeah, I keep waiting. He's getting so close. Maybe it's Michigan State. I hope it happens this year. I'd like to see it happen this year. In case you didn't see this on Twitter, a wild thing is happening. There are a couple NBA people that are talking about Braden Smith's landing place in the league. That's awesome to see because it means people are recognizing him. Obviously, the Cousy Award does not want to see that. But all these other organizations and groups of people are seeing what Braden Smith is. The fact he's getting mentioned as a possible NBA player, to me, I was floored by it. I still am. I just don't know how credible that is. But there are people out there talking about it. So good for Braden. I hope he's there I hope he's at Purdue for 4 years. I think his size is I hope he goes and takes advantage of the NBA camps afterwards, and they can tell him what he needs to work on or whatever. And guys generally come back better from that. Purdue players have in the past. So it's crazy to me though seeing that. Let's see. Touch Leaster said lawyers starting to come around. Last 3 games were really pretty tough. Like that Edey is continuing to get experience. Agreed. I like that he got good minutes. Like I said, it was far from perfect game, but it's getting the W to me is important. I would not say lawyers out of a slump yet. That's my summation. JL says Smith makes the offense go, pushes them to a rhythm. He's a floor general and a really impressive job all phases of the game. Yeah, he's really tremendous, and he's another guy who we might take for granted. Like I said, there are Purdue fans out there they're absolutely taking for granted, and even more they're disparaging him, which is bizarre. And I know there's a ton of Purdue alums, there's a ton of people on Twitter, but when you see people saying stuff like that, you're like, are you watching the game? Or have you watched Purdue in the past? That's the other thing. Have you watched Purdue in the past? I am convinced he's the best point guard in at least 40 years at Purdue. And you guys can counter that. You can tell me how crazy I am, but already I think that. So on one hand, I don't diminish his importance. On the other hand, I don't think he's a guy who's ready to lead for the league yet. That's a pretty big difference because Purdue has had trouble at the point guard position. David Budnick says Lawyer was 2 of 6 if you count that Ons was called off for a foul away from the ball. I don't know. Lawyer was 2 for 6 if you count that. What is Ons? Okay. So he was 2 for 6 from the floor. It's getting there. He's a better shooter than that. So let's see. Ed Albany says, I would agree with you about Painter wearing a suit if you wear a suit on the podcast. Sure. No. So that's what we got to do. I have to wear a suit to get, if you make that deal. Okay. And if you make that deal, you can get in Painter's ear. We'll make that deal. You get paid, say he's going to wear a gold coat. I'll find a gold coat. I've got the Motion P jacket. I used to wear that to church regularly just to say hi to some of our friends. And but yeah, I'll do it. Sure, Ed. I'm in. I'm game. Let's see. Nita Beanverse says, I don't understand how anyone could disparage Braden. Talk about out of touch. The guy's a baller, and we're fortunate to have him. I agree. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You can't figure everybody out. Joe Inslee says, would you rather lose at Illinois or lose on Saturday in the Big Ten tournament? Lose on Saturday in the Big Ten tournament. I don't care about the Big Ten tournament. And there's something to be said about a reset mentally for a team. The one problem is you're sitting out for longer, obviously, because the championship's on Sunday. I don't care about the Big Ten tournament because it hasn't helped Purdue. And if you guys can tell me a time where you think you can see that it's helped Purdue's seeding, let me know. I don't remember that happening. When Purdue won the Big Ten, I use this example more than any other. Purdue won the Big Ten tournament when they beat Ohio State, and they had Kramer at point guard or shooting guard, whatever, combo guard. And they win that tournament. They were a 4, according to everybody coming into that Sunday. And the tournament selection show happened right away, and they were a 4. It was like it was already in. It didn't matter. If Purdue loses the first round of the tournament, could that beat a team like Northwestern? Okay, sure, it'll piss us off. It'll frustrate us. But, yeah, I'd rather them beat Illinois because I don't want to see Illinois fans saying just jaw-jacking on Twitter. Let's see. Let's see. Andy in Colorado says, on the other hand, I don't care about the Big Ten tournament. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. Anything else here? Yeah, I think that's about it. See if I missed anybody up here. Alfred Dowd says, B. Smith looks like all Big Ten player. I think B. Smith is flirting with All-American. I think he'll be second team All-American for quite a few of those. And I think he's a Big Ten, all Big Ten point guard. So I've been wrong before, but I think if he doesn't get it, he's getting robbed. So I'm with you, Dad. Let's see. Karen Gerlach says, gotta tighten up the defense. Yeah, and this is an issue if you look at Purdue's problem this year, right? It's having the turnovers obviously come up over and over, and the defense kind of taking their foot off the gas. Let's say that, right? Not being as intense at times. Absolutely. But I will say this. I know Doug McDaniel shoots a lot. Doug McDaniel's good, and the other kid, 4 on Michigan. What's his name? Is that Burnett? Burnett. Ugly-looking shot, but super effective player offensively. Super effective player. He's long and he's athletic. I think he is. I mean, he's good size. Well, McDaniel's not good size, but McDaniel is he's crafty. But that's that. You're gonna have guys go off when they're just scoring minded guys. And Michigan, like I said, is much more talented than their 8 wins tells you. Sam Lovejoy says Zach Edey coming back. No, he's not, Sam. No, he's not. And he's referenced this a couple times. He was on ESPN and talked about how emotional will senior night be for him. He said very emotional. He said multiple times this year it's your last time playing at IU and other places like that. He's not coming back. He's not coming back. So yeah, I don't think there's any way. Anyway, who's Johnny says they left Fletcher wide open, daring him to make a 3, and he bricked that straight on one. That wasn't the best look. Joe Inslee says surprise Purdue overcame the banked 3 in the first half. Yeah, that was when a team's doing that, when they're making that shot. Yeah, Purdue started off horribly. If you didn't watch the first few minutes, they start off horribly. They were bad on defense. They were bad on offense. I don't think many Purdue fans were nervous. One guy on Twitter was mad at me for something. And so there's that guy. Let's see. That's it. Let's call it a day. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. I mean, that's it's a somewhat shorter post game, which is a little bit nice. But I don't have much to say other than Purdue can play better. I think they will play better versus Michigan State. I think the Mackey energy needs to be transported a little bit on the road. Purdue needs to keep their mentality that they have at Mackey on the road. I know you're not going to have, obviously, the fans' impact, but some guys seem to almost change personas on the road. If you had a guy that was a road killer, that'd be great. I think Lance Jones has a little bit of that attitude. He's pretty consistent, though. He had a little swoon, but he's been pretty consistent. So let's see. Nathan, God bless you too. Everybody, have a great week. God bless you. Hammer down. Purdue is 25-3. Well, they'll probably be number 2 tomorrow. But the top 3, they're all very, very, very good. And so I don't think there's any dishonor not being number 1. I'm actually A-okay with it. I think their seeding, they could still be the number 1 overall seed, depending on how they fare against Illinois. I think it's that simple. But again, they're in a really good position now because you've gotten through the games where you gain nothing, right? The games, like today, is a game, even though it's a road game, you don't gain much. You don't get anybody saying, wow, that's well done, Purdue. But now you play Michigan State, who's fighting for their life, and they're going to be hungry. And then you play at Illinois, which absolutely is going to be a dogfight. And then you finish with Wisconsin, who is a team that's going to need every win they can get as they have kind of wet down their leg the last few weeks. So have a great day again. Hammer down. Talk to you soon.